It is about two restaurants that are directly across the street from each other in a French village. Me too! I mean, we both prefer Indian cuisine, so.
And cook the iconic dish, chicken tikka masala, and who doesn't know that?
It is a perfect, yeah, it is, there's like a perfect balance with every single ingredient in this dish.
And up to here, we're done.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Film and Flavor, where films and food meet in the most delicious way. I'm Zain Hasan.
Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Ahmed Zayani.
We've got an exciting film today. It is The 100-Foot Journey. This 2014 comedy drama film is directed by Lasse Hellström from a screenplay written by Stephen Knight, adapted from Richard C. Maurice's 2010 novel of the same name. It stars Helen Mirren, Om Puri, Manish Dayal, and Charlotte Le Bon. It is about two restaurants that are directly across the street from each other in a French village. A new Indian restaurant owned by an Indian family, and an established French restaurant with a Michelin star owned by a French woman.
But to cook, it's that live on in every ingredient.
Decided to bring the family to London.
I thought you might be hungry, so...
Thank you.
That's just some cold things we had in the larder, so... Amazing.
Oui, je vous les mets de côté comme d'habitude. La sole, bon fish. Bonjour, messieurs.
It's a beautiful film that blends culture, family, and of course, food. And speaking about food, today we'll be trying one of the most iconic dishes in the film, chicken tikka masala. In addition, we're going to be talking more about the film itself, its cast, its directors, and the incredible significance of this dish to the story. Now, Zain, I think you were just introduced to this film recently, right?
Yes, I have actually.
Okay, and I think we talked about how it was cool to see two different cultures clashing and through the narrative of the film.
It was. I mean, growing up eating a lot of Indian dishes, it was cool to see some sort of representation, I guess, because you don't mainly see that in Western movies and Western films. So it was nice. It was a nice story to share with the rest of the world.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that they got someone with the accolades of Helen Mirren to be the star of this movie. And she did fantastic.
She
if
did,
I can say.
yeah.
Especially since she's playing a French woman, so maintaining that accent, that presence in the cinema, it's just wonderful.
It is, yeah.
And then she have someone like Puri playing it right against her, and you wouldn't typically see him in a film like this. I wasn't that fluent in his filmography before I watched The 100-Foot Journey, but once I did, I was captivated.
It is. It is a truly captivating story. And I mean, it has a lot of emotional scenes as well. Like watching it for the first time just recently, what I've noticed is that they touch a lot on like culture, obviously, cultural differences. But with cultural differences come a lot of emotional ties, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, you know, from a French cuisine that is widely loved by the entire world, I'd say, Indian cuisine isn't widely loved by the entire world. So it's not really popular in Western countries like France or Europe in general. So to see them own an Indian restaurant that is blooming and that eventually becomes, in a way, successful,
True.
It was truly beautiful to see.
Oh, absolutely. And setting it in the French countryside, now that was certainly a really cool choice.
That was, yeah.
Because it already creates that challenge, that dichotomy in how people will approach this restaurant. Because they do start off as apprehensive to them, especially since it's a community that doesn't have that many outsiders in it.
Yeah.
But once the ball gets rolling, they start to embrace them in a wonderful way, that they do eventually become a part of the community.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that the polar opposition between having a more traditional Indian restaurant right across the street, 100 feet actually, as the name would suggest, than a fine dining French restaurant with a Michelin star.
Yes, it was a really cool way to kind of compare and contrast the differences between the two cultures. It was an interesting way of comparing.
Sure.
So they were comparing with dishes, and that's always a fun way, comparing with food. Differences in foods when it comes to cultures. So, do you prefer Indian food over French food, or?
I do prefer Indian food over French food. I
Same.
mean, I'm okay with French food. Like it's not one of my go-to cuisines, but Indian food, I don't know, it feels more down to earth.
Yes, and I think that's what the movie touched on.
Absolutely.
Mostly,
Yeah.
show you how Indian food can actually, I guess, I don't know about you, but it makes me the happiest.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what they wanted to do in the film. Like Ampuri's character just wanted to cook for his community.
Yes.
While Helen Mirren's character was more interested in getting a second Michelin star for her restaurant. And both of them are right in their aspirations. It's just a matter of taste. To me, I will go with Indian food every single time.
Me too. I agree completely with you on that.
Voila.
The 100-Foot Journey tells the story of the Kadam family who opened a restaurant in a French village. Much to the dismay of the Michelin-starred French restaurant across the street, it's a cultural competition between traditional French cuisine and the flavors of India.
The movie was directed by Lasse Hellström, known for his heartwarming stories. The film is based on the novel of Richard C. Moraes, and of course it stars the incredible cast, including Helen Mirren, who plays Madame Mallory, the proud owner of the French restaurant, and Manish Dayal, who plays Hasan Kadam, the talented young chef.
It's an emotional and culinary journey, isn't it? But one of the most memorable parts of the film is when Hasan, inspired by his family's heritage, creates the chicken tikka masala. It's a turning point in the film where he merges his Indian roots with French techniques.
That's true. Speaking of France, the 100-Foot Journey was filmed in beautiful locations across France with stunning scenes of the French countryside. The village where the movie is set, while fictional, was filmed in the region of Dordogne. And when watching the movie, you can almost taste the food through the screen, right? The chef's intense passion for cooking really comes through in every scene. And for the actors, it wasn't just about the acting. It was about learning the art of cooking these dishes.
That's right. Helen Mirren, for example, learned how to handle knives and cook French cuisine, while Manish Dayal trained with real chefs to master Indian cooking. So it's not just a food film, it's a celebration of the art of cooking itself. And now, what we've all been waiting for, the cooking segment. We have Chef Ali Yosif, who's going to teach us how to make chicken tikka masala, just like in the 100-Foot Journey.
Hey everyone, I'm Chef Ali Yosif and I'm so excited to be here today and cook the iconic dish, chicken tikka masala, and who doesn't know that? But it's like in the 100-Foot Journey movie. To begin with, let me show you the ingredients first and then we start with the first step. First of all, we have not a lot of spices, as you maybe imagined. We've got only masala powder, I've got cumin powder, turmeric powder, and I've got lemon, garlic, fresh garlic and fresh ginger. And then I got yogurt, heavy cream, butter, and chili and onions. And of course I have tomatoes and chicken, and of course using salt. Mind you, having said that, even we have the tomato sauce also. To begin with, we're going first marinate the chicken. We're actually supposed to be in overnight, a minimum 8 hours, to combine all the flavors into that chicken. We're getting the chicken. To marinate the chicken, I'm going to use my hand. Lemon. Bit of garlic. Bit of ginger. Bit of turmeric. Bit of cumin powder. Bit of masala powder. Bit of salt. And yogurt. We're going to marinate everything together. The longest you marinate it, you keep it, you just cling film it and just put it in the fridge for minimum of 8 hours. You can do it like right away, but you know, it's much better when you keep it longer in the fridge, so you can get the flavors. You got them right into the chicken. We'll put that aside. You can change my gloves and we're going to the next step. Got gloves changed, cleaned. Can get blender. So if you got food processors, makes it better. We're going to put onions, chilies, rest of garlic, and ginger. We're going to put that blender, we'll blend it together. Now we're going to cook the chicken. First, we need to put a bit of butter. But this time, not using oil. Now we're going to put this aside because you don't want to fully cook it, because we need to cook it more in the cream. Remember, we have. I'm going to make cream now. I'm going to show you how. Right, I'm going to place that in there. Now on the same pan, you can use different one, no problem. We're going to use the one we blended earlier. Sorry, I'm gonna just reduce it a little bit. Don't need that high heat for now. This, I would say, the onion mixture that we did earlier. Not need much to do now. It's just going to add a bit of salt only, and we're going to add the tomato or tomatoes, right, and also that tomato sauce. Let's bring everything cooked together so I can show you the little bit high heat. Let's bring this to boil and cook everything together, and then we'll get back to you shortly. And my sauce is ready. As you see, it is bubbling, bubbling, bubbling. Right, and Now we're going to put it into our chicken because we're going to cook it more. Right? That's in there. Now I'm going to mix this for now. And again, I'm gonna keep it for another 10 to 15 minutes to simmer all together, sauce the chicken and get more flavor into it. See, I'll come back to you. Now we're back. Of course, we combined everything together. Look how beautiful it is. Right, now we're going to add the cream into it. Now, of course, we're going to leave it for another 5 minutes. And then from there, we're going to end up plating the chicken tikka masala, and we're going to enjoy it. And the magic is ready. That smells good. As you see, chicken looks good. Sauces looks nice. Color's beautiful. What we're gonna do is now time to eat. Let's turn this off. Now let's make it more beautiful. Bit of coriander, chili, and some lime. And up to here, we're done. And now we have this amazing dish ready. The trick is to simmer it long enough to allow the flavors to meld all together, but also use fresh ingredients, fresh tomatoes, fresh spices, those all the differences. And don't forget to garnish a little bit of parsley, coriander, and then you have squeeze of lemon, and that's really will brighten up the dish. Thank you.
Welcome back. Look at that. It smells incredible. You can really see the love and effort that goes into making this dish, just like we saw in this film. What do you think?
You know, it looks just like the dish that changed everything for Madame Mallory and Hasan. It's a reminder that sometimes food has the power to change hearts and minds. And with that, I think it's time for us to dig in.
Yeah, why not?
All right,
So-
hand me your plate. All right, do you want this to be very saucy or lightly sauced for you?
Lightly sauce.
All right,
We don't want to get too messy.
no worries. Just say when.
All right, just
Need more
maybe a
chicken.
little more.
Sure.
All right, that's no.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were warned before this not to mess the set, and I think that's
Yeah.
going to be a huge challenge for us, right?
Very huge. I mean, honestly, I feel like this is probably a little better than like the other dishes that
True,
we've had.
true.
It's not as
Wait, you're going to eat this with a spoon and a fork?
Yes.
Well, what about eating with your hand? I thought we talked about this.
We didn't agree.
Oh, okay, okay. So we just agreed in my head, right?
Yeah, we probably just agreed in your head.
All right, nothing wrong with that. Maybe
All right.
maybe we'll save it to an episode where we discuss something else.
Yeah,
All right.
sure.
Okay.
All right. So
All right.
let's give
Take a
this
big
try.
spoonful. Oh my god.
This is spicy.
That is quite a spice. I did not expect that at all. Oh my God. Now, I see why they need lassi to drink, to eat this, right?
This is very spicy, but I'd say it's perfectly resembles Indian food. It is Indian food, but it's just like I think it's the perfect definition of chicken tikka masala. Like it actually tastes like chicken tikka masala. And it really does live up to its name because it is very spicy. And I completely understand why this dish would be significant to the film. I mean, just the mix of flavors in general. It's just, it's just an Indian cuisine.
I'm not just getting the spice because the chicken is seasoned perfectly here.
It is, yeah.
There's the different components to this, and it's even just slightly tangy, let's say. It is a perfect spoonful.
It is a perfect, yeah, it is. There's like a perfect balance with every single ingredient in this dish.
And no offense to Madame Mallory, but I would definitely want to eat this over anything she serves in her restaurant.
Me too. I mean, we both prefer Indian cuisine,
Oh,
so
absolutely.
that's fine.
Great minds, right?
Yeah, great minds think alike.
Now, do you know that when the movie came out in this region, it was actually called The 100-Foot Journey?
Really?
Yeah, so it came out under the name of From Bombay to Paris.
All right. Okay.
The argument was that we don't usually use feet in our measuring system here.
Yeah.
So they went with an alternate name and something that's more simpler, more clear to what the movie is. I think either name works well for the movie.
Yeah, both names work well. I mean, honestly, but I feel like 100-Foot Journey kind of makes a little more sense.
It does.
You know, if we think about it from the movie's perspective and the movie's storyline, it just makes more sense that way. But I completely understand why they would switch the name for our region over here.
Of course. And I think what's cool about the movie as well is that it's produced by Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is a really good fact.
She actually read the book and fell in love with it and worked hard to get funding for the film.
You know what? Now I just might get the book and read it.
You should.
Because it seems like a very fun read.
And you know, that was actually a very crowded year for foodie movies because there were two other movies that came out that dealt with the subject of culinary arts.
Really?
Yeah, right before this, Chef came into cinemas.
Oh, yeah.
Starring Jon Favreau, and that was a wonderful film.
That was a wonderful film, yeah.
And right after this was a movie called Burnt, starring Bradley Cooper.
I'm not sure I've heard of that one.
So that it takes a darker look at what it takes to be a chef and run a fine dining restaurant. If you've seen The Bear by any chance,
I have seen it. It's one of my favorites.
It feels closer to that than The 100-Foot Journey.
Yeah.
But I think all three films are worth a watch. Yeah. So if you have the time, and make sure you have the time, watch them all.
I feel like any film that kind of focuses mainly on the culinary arts or cuisines, any type of cuisine really, but they show you two different aspects of it. So there's the type of films that kind of like lightly, they shed light on like the important aspects of cooking, where it's like, you know, sometimes it can get a bit draining, sometimes it can get a bit overworked, you can get overtired. And then there are different aspects of it that shed light on the happy parts of cooking, where it's like, you know, it makes people happy, brings them together. And I think that's really a nice way of putting it, because, you know, food is a love language.
True.
For many. It is a love language of mine. So it is cool to see that represented on film, you know, in many different ways, not just in like the regular, straightaway, happy way.
Oh, absolutely. And because it does emote a whole spectrum of emotions,
yes,
right?
Yes, it does.
So for it to be presented in this film in that manner is absolutely wonderful.
It is.
And I think that our viewers will benefit from revisiting this film very soon.
Yes, for sure.
You know, Zain, I really think that Chef Ali outdid himself because this is absolutely delicious. The chicken tikka masala we see in the film is special because it's more than just a recipe. It tells a story. In the film, Hasan uses a mix of traditional Indian spices and modern French techniques to create the perfect balance of flavor. It's rich, aromatic, and comforting.
That is true, and this dish is really, really delicious. So, in your opinion, what is the significance of that chicken tikka masala scene? Why does it resonate so much with the story? What about you, Ahmed?
Well, Zain, chicken tikka masala represents more than just a fusion of flavors. It's about cultural identity, the blending of worlds. Hasan's creation of his dish symbolizes the journey of discovering who he is and the power of food to connect people from different backgrounds.
That's a beautiful way to put it. In fact, there's a moment in the film where Madame Mallory, the person who disapproved of Hasan's restaurant, tastes his chicken tikka masala and it changes everything. It's a perfect example of how food is a bridge between cultures.
There are many things that we liked about this movie. The magical scene in which Hasan turns an ordinary omelet into something extraordinary because of his culinary genius and love of cooking. The rousing music by A.R. Rahman, the dramatic tension as Madame Mallory awaits the phone call informing her whether her restaurant is getting a second Michelin star of excellence. All the scenes showing how the Kadam family works together and plays together. And the moment when Papa Kadam realizes that his beloved son Hasan has made a decision that is dear to his heart in making his mother beam in joy.
For me, my favorite scene was when he was attempting to make the omelet, and this is the perfect way of making the omelet. It just looked so delicious to me watching that.
It really was.
It was the perfect omelet.
Like I was tempted to try to make an omelet kind of like that in real life, but as you know, I'm very incompetent in the kitchen, so I think it's better that I stick to ordering from other people,
All right.
just to play it safe. For me, I would say my favorite scene is when he was preparing the sauces and presented them to Madame Mallory.
Oh.
How she first reacted in the negative, like she shrugged him off. But the moment he walked off, you see her reacting as if she just tasted a slice of bliss, you know?
Yeah.
Like she knew how good he was. And even though she wasn't a fan of his, she couldn't deny his genius.
Yes, that's a beautiful way of putting it. I like that scene as well.
Hasan Iqbal Kadam,
Date of birth,
July 5th, 1990.
place of birth,
I was born in Mumbai, India.
To the boy who knows.
A warm, light feeling, that's the feeling you get after watching the film. Its plot may be predictable, but you can never go wrong with a story about food, passion, and family. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. And of course, a huge thanks to Chef Ali Yosif for making this very tasty dish. We hope this episode has inspired you to blend some cultures in your own kitchen.
Yes, thank you once again, Chef Ali. Remember, food is more than just sustenance. It's a way to connect with people and explore the world. We'll see you next time with more cinematic magic and culinary delights. See you next time with another film and another dish. Goodbye.